Thank you, Devin. And according to the CDC, influenza viruses are among several viruses contributing to respiratory disease activity. Other viral infections that are at high levels right now include COVID, RSV, and norovirus. This morning, we're talking with Nurse Christina Paris this morning. Thanks for joining us on this chilly Tuesday.
It is a cold one out there.
It is a cold one, and we're talking about all these respiratory viruses. So tell us a little bit about how, this sort of, what are the respiratory illnesses affecting us today in the Northwoods?
Yeah, so like you said, we have COVID, RSV, and flu are the big ones. And I just wanted to talk a little bit because I still think there continues to be this misunderstanding about viral infections versus bacteria.
Right.
And I can't tell you how many times people call us, and I get it, I do. I've been sick. I get that you feel like absolute garbage. But if you've been sick for 2 days, chances are it's viral. Antibiotics will not work. And the reason for this is because viruses are these weird, spidery looking, unusual things. And what they do is they have to have a host. So they go into your body and they find a cell and they trick the cell into allowing it to replicate. And so, they're very damaging. Where a bacteria or a bacterial infection, bacterias are their whole selves. They don't need your cells to infect. So that's why an antibiotic will work. It will kill that cell and stop it from continuing on and replicating itself. Yeah, and so there's several different types, really quick. So we subtype flus. There's over 1,400 different types of flu.
Oh boy, so you're saying we have options.
Yeah, and you can get more than one. And you'll hear about H1N1, those kind of things. So H is the hemagglutinin. That's a protein that's on that particular viral infection or virus. And then there's the N, which is the neuraminidase. And so that's how we figure H1 and N1 or H whatever. There are 18 different types of H subtypes. There are 11 different N's. Right, so you can have like
any combination
H3,
of these?
N10, H4, N, right. And so, yeah.
And so like the vaccines, if you're sort of, getting the seasonal vaccine, it probably only prevents, sicknesses from the certain strand.
Correct.
Perhaps what they predict the most likely.
And often we'll look at Australia because they get their flu season before us. So we see what types of flu strains are most prevalent there, and then we put those into our flu vaccines.
I did not know that. That's a neat little thing to know about the Australians.
Yeah. So those are our different. So those are the surface proteins, the N's and the H's, and there's more than 130 different influenza A subtypes, and influenza A is the most prevalent. That's the one we're really seeing a lot of. I think there were like 600 and something influenza A infections just last week. And then there were only 35 of the influenza B. So it's not as prevalent, and it doesn't make you nearly as sick as influenza A.
Well, that's good to know. Now, taking a turn over, I know we've talked a lot on the news about bird flu.
Right.
And that is H5N1, isn't it?
Yes, it
so
is.
It's got the H and it's got the N. It's just a different combination.
Correct.
So it's just a different strand of the flu, is that right?
It is. The tricky thing about this is, so there's A, B, C, and then D. D, so we have, influenza A, influenza B. Those are most prevalent. Influenza C is also human, but we don't see many. Influenza D is typically only in animals. So when something that's just in animals jumps species, so it somehow figured out how to trick a human cell into allowing it to replicate, now it's become this huge problem. That's what we're concerned about. And we kind of saw that with COVID. COVID, I don't know, there's all kinds of theories about it, but one was that it was a cold virus that was in an animal that jumped species. I don't know all the, we don't know. But anyway, those can cause a lot of issues. And we do have one case in Wisconsin, and we were
just talking about that before.
Yep, and it was in a bird handler.
Yeah.
So somebody who did, I think, chickens or poultry.
Yeah. Always good to be, on the alert for that. I mean, fitting that they call it the bird flu.
Right.
Well, so what can we do to try to stay healthy this season to avoid all of these different strains? There's got to be something we can do then.
Absolutely. So we can take precautions. One of them is just avoiding contact with people who are sick. So if you are sick, please stay home. We get calls all the time from people who are like, it's just a little cold and I'm at work. I just think, no, because now I'm going to be sick. Like, please don't just assume that. And for some people, it can be life-threatening. Also, you want to get vaccinated. Make sure that you are, you can clean your air, wiping down common surfaces, wearing a mask if you have to go in. So if you have to go to work, like, be kind, wear a mask, put one on, they still sell them. Hand sanitizer, cover your nose with a tissue. If you have to blow your nose, then use some hand sanitizer, clean your hands off. Avoid touching your eyes, face to keep germs away. And, air quality, if you certainly don't want to open windows today, but if you
can, when it's safe, do your best to, air the place out. It's all about that fresh air, it kind of revitalizes the body there.
Absolutely.
But thanks, for kind of talking us through this. It is flu season, it's cold season. I know a handful of people who have had it. They've had a tough time of it. I had it a few weeks ago, and I'm hoping that was the most common type, and I'm in the clear. But you never know.
No, and there are antivirals. So if you have COVID and if you have flu, it doesn't stop it, but it may help you get better faster, and you have to start them quickly before it replicates even more.
Well, good advice there. Thanks for coming on in this morning. Appreciate it. It is chilly. Hopefully you make it on home safe, and thanks for trying to get us all a little bit healthier.
That's right.
All right. Well, coming up this morning, we have What's Trending.